Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, and I want to say Shalom to Akim Nakwat out there, pursuing this truth diligently. Come at you once again with another lesson. And this is a response to a response, I suppose. Some of you may know. Now, I didn't really dive into it too much, but there's been some issue. 3 days ago, there was a lesson that was put out called Sons of Thunder Israelites Are Going Off. Now, this isn't the first time these guys have gone off. All right, they've gone off, I believe it was a couple years ago. And, of course, the brothers of GMS rebuked them. Their name in general, Sons of Thunder, is a title that was used mockingly within the Bible. It's not something you should really name yourself after, right? But they named themselves after, Sons of Thunder. Oh, you Sons of Thunder, right? And they were going off, and they're going off again now, right? Like just how was it as a dog returns to its vomit? Let's go and get it in Proverbs 26 and 11 in the King James Version. It says, "As a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly." Now, what is folly? Folly is foolish action, stupidity, really, doing dumb shit. All right, folly definition. All right, and we're gonna get the Google definition. So, they're not gonna like that very well. But matter of fact, you know what? We'll go and get it this way, right? So we'll go and type in folly. Matter of fact, we'll actually what was the exact scripture? It was Proverbs 26 and 11. Okay, let's go to Proverbs 26 and 11, and we'll do it that way, right? Apparently, because they don't really like the Google version, which is they're just dumb. But you can go and get folly. All right, it's gonna go back to this word right here.
Strong's H200. Iveleth.
All right, Iveleth. Okay, which goes back to foolishness. All right, folly. Okay, foolishness, folly. So we can see if we can find it. Where are we at in here? Yeah, no, it's not going to give us a... So it doesn't have the actual Brown Driver Briggs lexicon word here for that specific scripture. All right, but you can see folly, absolute. It just goes back to folly. All right, just folly. Okay, so if it's just saying folly, well, we need to know what that definition is. So we have to use Merriam-Webster or wherever, right? And generally these come from... Where do these come from? Now, the Google definition, but usually they're usually based off of either, Merriam-Webster's or the Cambridge or one of the, popular dictionaries. But you can see here folly.
Folly.
Folly goes back to a lack of good sense or foolishness. Okay, a foolish act, idea, or practice. Okay, stupidity, idiocy, or idiocy. I almost said idiocracy. All right, which is a movie. All right, but idiocy, imbecility. Silliness, inanity, lunacy, madness, recklessness, irresponsibility. That's a good one. Indiscretion, indiscreet, non-being discreet. Okay? So, and what we're talking about today, all right, so again, back to the scripture, Proverbs 26 and 11, as a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly. And someone that keeps on doing dumb shit is likely to return to keep on doing dumb shit. All right, and again, really with scripture like that can go as far as, someone who falls out of this truth, and goes back into it, returning to the vomit. But another way, a foolish person, all right, that hasn't changed, that is unlearned and hasn't changed, they're going to keep on doing the same foolish shit. They'll keep on stepping on that rake and hitting themselves in the face over and over and over again, regardless of how many times, they've done it. They're not going to learn, okay? So, and in this, one of the guys from, I can't remember the name, I'll go ahead and play it. One of the guys from Sons of Thunder, reached out. Oh, Brother Joel, right? Brother Joel says, responding to a proud comment from Brother Joel of SOT Israelites. So one of the guys, Brother Joel, all right, decided to make a proud and foolish comment, all right, dealing with the situation. Now, these two guys here, as mentioned in the lesson, all right, are from Nation of Islam, all right? Nation of Islam. And it doesn't make any sense. All right, if you're Hebrew Israelites, you can see it says sons of other Israelites. If you're Israelites, why are you hanging around with Islam? All right, and you really don't have an excuse, regardless if you try to make an excuse, you really don't have one. All right, and it's not something that you should be doing. All right, it's bugged out, it's going off. You shouldn't be doing it at all, right? So, and this guy right here has long hair, right? This guy right here has long hair. Okay, I'm pretty sure there's some other guys that have this. This guy's hair is getting a little long. All right. So you're going out. This guy in the back right here, he has long hair. All right. So I can't tell if those are braids or dreads. All right. Because he's in the back. I don't know what type of hair he's got going on. All right. But if he has dreads, that's going off. All right. You know, I'm trying, you know, you got a bald face. That looks a little too bald. Like, you know, not even, that looks like you might have shaved. You can't be shaving your face. So you're just going off, man. They're just going off, which is, you know, routine with these guys. All right. And when I say these guys, I mean, you know, bug outs. All right. Bug out camps. All right, anybody who's not GMS, all right, is in, or, well, the apostles put out the decree they don't want the word affiliate going on, but I won't use the term affiliate. But anybody who's not GMS or teaching the same way as GMS, I'm not going to say affiliate, but unless you're GMS or teaching the same way as GMS, you're bug out, okay? Because GMS teaches the truth as according to the Holy Bible, okay? So when you say teaching according to GMS, we're just saying how GMS teaches because they're the only ones really out there that teach according to the Holy Bible. Okay, they don't add seasoned flavor. You know, oh, they do add. They add the certain things that aren't within the Bible. What, history? All right, well, that can be linked to the Bible. Okay, you know, there's not going to be, you know, there's going to be things that aren't in the Bible that is necessity for the Bible. You know, for that's not in the Bible. Well, I mean, the dictionary isn't in the Bible either. But if you don't have the dictionary, and you don't know what the word believe means, you're not going to very well be able to understand. If you don't understand the English language, how are you going to be able to understand Scripture? Okay. If it's written in English or in Hebrew or whatever translation you happen to get. If you're reading it from the Hebrew, you got to know Hebrew. If you're reading in English, you got to know English. If you're reading in the Greek, you got to know Greek. You can't know no language and try to read, right? You have to have a basic understanding, and that's the thing, that people don't like those definitions because a lot of Israelites specifically, let alone a lot of people in the world, because of course the people in the world, they're a lower standard. But Israel, if you're an Israelite, you're held to a higher standard. And a lot of Israelites don't know basic definitions. All right, a lot of people don't know basic definitions. Right, sin. All right, iniquity. All right, circumspection. These guys must not know what circumspection is because they're not behaving it. All right. So again, I'll play a little bit of the video here to let you know what was going on here. You know, Lord willing, the brother won't mind, and then we're gonna go and get a couple scriptures here.
Do a response to some of the comments from this guy here, Joe, from the Sons of Thunder Israelites.
I guess it's this guy right here.
All right, and you know, I did a video a few days ago. The video was entitled, or is entitled, "Sons of Thunder Israelites Are Going Off," and you know, just being very honest and openly, or very blunt, you dudes was going off, man. All right, and the reason why, because you got this, you know, this photo here with these dudes from Islam, right? These Muslims, black Muslims, whatever they're called. And it's so lucky to call them black Muslims, but they're, you know, the Muslims, the Nation of Islam. And Hebrew Israelites don't have any business getting together with, you know, trying to come together with those of other that worship other gods.
True.
To be honest, and I said that in the video. And the video wasn't malicious, but at the end of the day, rebuke is rebuke. And what you find with these Israelites is that they don't handle rebuke very well. They act like they're above being corrected about anything. It's just like normal when you make a rebuke or you notice something that they went off on, and you present it to them instead of being grown-ups and saying, you know what, I can see why you're saying that. They make excuses. And this is the guy I'm responding to in the middle. His name is Joe, I believe, Joel, or Yahweh all, but he said Joe. So if I'm not mistaken, he's the leader of the Sons of Thunder Israelites. It's him and this guy right here next to him. And I'm laughing because this dude right here reminds me of like a black version of Carrot Top, the comedian.
Yeah, a little bit.
The big, you know, all with the burgundy, whatever. The burgundy, what do you call it, hair hat. All right. And when you look at these individuals in the room, it's just, I mean, it's almost like a damn prison photo, but
it do look like that.
I'm not trying to insult, I'm just saying.
It do look like that,
They'll
though.
probably be insulted. But really, whenever GMS have something to say about another Israelite group, they're immediately insulted. Okay? But this is going off. These Islam dudes, they worship another God. And well, let's go to the comments and see what the brother said, man. And then I even bring the comments up. Let's actually go there to the comment board and open it up. Salakia. I should have had it up already, but you know how it can be. And this computer's been acting up because this is the second time now I'm attempting to record this. And I guess I should have just did it like this. Yeah. All right. So from the comment board of that video, this is from Brother Joe right here. SOT Israelites, right? He says, watching you break down contrary in the Greek para may have been the best part of the video. Truly hilarious. And you know, when I went to the word contrary, right? At first I couldn't see the definition inside of the blue letter. I mean, what are you saying, man? You know, going to Google and looking at the definition of a word, there's nothing wrong with that. It don't have to be in the blue letter, even though I did both. I gave it to you in the blue letter and gave it to you in Google. I mean, the word contrary, everybody know what it means. It's not a fucking mystery, but you're trying to be an asshole.
It's true.
But it's all good, though. So you started out with that. He says, you have truly made it when GMS South Carolina gets emotional and starts jumping to conclusions, making a video about you. And this is Jake attempting to discredit,
Yep.
you know, the rebuke.
Yeah, because
You're
there's
saying
no conclusions that were jumped. A matter of fact, you might say I'm jumping to conclusions in a minute because I mean, right down here, you're about to literally prove what's going on with you guys, man. You're disorderly.
Emotional and jump to conclusions. No, anybody in their right mind can see that this is dumb.
It
This
is.
butt ass dumb. The only people that'll go along with this is the rest of your deluded followers, right? And weirdo remedial Israelites who, you know, knuckle dragging Israelites who don't know what the hell is going on. Esau has been steadily trying to link us with Islam, and here you go, Mr. Esau. You use this, you asshole.
Because Islam, those guys, they're heavily considered extremists because of the Islamic and Muslim beliefs. All right, there's a lot of, you know, Islam is associated with Ghererism. All right, replace that G with a T. All right, those are the things that they associate them with. So if you're trying, you know, first of all, one, they're associated with those types of things, and then two, they're going. You want another word? Contrary. All right, you're teaching things contrary. All right, to the doctrine which we have learned. All right, scripturally. So we're not supposed to even be around people like that. All right, that are out here. You're worshiping Allah and you're doing all these different things. That doesn't, you know, those things are not compatible. You're trying to take another piece of a puzzle, all right, and slam it in to you're trying to take a piece of another puzzle and slam it into the other puzzle that it don't fit. All right, and it's disorderly, man. It's disorderly. But and it's a bad look. It's a bad look.
You can get mad all you want to, man.
But the big part here is in that message that you left and what you called these guys.
And you was
All
going
right.
off.
It'll be right here. He's getting it.
Anyway, let's finish reading. He goes on, he says, Feast of Dedication was amazing. And to have brothers from the nation sitting as students, reciting the prayers in Paleo-Hebrew to the best of their ability, standing in awe of the Maccabees and learning about their Apocrypha, and actually being taught the Bible correctly for the first time was an honor. To facilitate that was a great gift from Yahweh.
So, first of all, you don't know what you're talking. I mean, you're not supposed to have no dealings with these guys. First of all, those Nation of Islam guys, those are the same guys that if I'm correct, and a brother can correct me if I'm wrong, those are the same guys, not those two guys, but the same group, all right, that attacked Abba Bivens, all right, that ended up leading to his passing away. So why would you associate with these people? Also, they're associated with Islam, and Islam's associated. We already know how that is. All right, and they're calling on fake gods. Those Islam guys are bugged out, man. I've talked to a couple of these Islam guys. All right, at work. All right, there's a guy that's in there. He's an older Jake, and he's bugged out, man. They're bugged out. They have all sorts of bugged out doctrines, man. Right? And you're trying to associate with them, and he says, and to have brothers. Why are you calling them brothers? Well, they are our brothers. No, brothers as in what? Brothers as in, you saying brothers as in so-called black folk brothers, or brothers as in brothers under Yahweh Shem Yahushai? Because they're not brothers under Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, we can go and get Matthew 12 and 47. Okay, And that's all we're probably going to use with the video. I recommend, go and watch it if you want to get the rest. Again, page, let me get it. It's the beloved brother. His name's Elderman, not the Zakwa. But the channel is GMS South Carolina 08. All right, highly recommend going and subscribing. But here in Matthew 12 and 47, this is when Yahushua was teaching within the temple. All right, and I'm actually going to go from 46, and it says, Matthew 12 and 46, it says, while he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him. And Slakia, then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee. But he answered and said unto him that told him, and it's red letter, so this is Yahushua speaking, it says, who is my mother, and who are my brethren? And he stretched forth his hand towards his disciples, and said, behold, my mother and my brethren. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. So let's read that again. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. So you're not brotherly or a brother just because you're some adjacent belief of not regular Christian. I mean, Islam has nothing to do with Hebrew Israelites. All right, that has nothing to do with us. All right, there's no reason to associate with them. I mean, you'd sooner might as well go and associate with Christianity. All right, you might sooner as well go and get some Buddhists, all right, and bring them around a congregation. You might soon as well go and get some Satanists and hang out with them, right? I mean, why not, right? You can teach them some Hebrew, to recite some things in some Paleo-Hebrew, right? It doesn't matter who they are, all right? They can still, have their head covered while they're doing it, or wear their upside-down crosses, or, do whatever, right? As long as they're coming over, right? No, you're not supposed to. You're supposed to, look. If someone's, doing divisions, if someone's acting disorderly, all right, then what are you supposed to do? Romans 16 and 17, it says, you want to read up? No, we can get from 17. It says, now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. Okay, and avoid them. It doesn't say hang around them, go and do congregations, hold different events with them, or invite them to a biblical holiday. It doesn't say that. It says avoid them. All right, if you're avoiding someone, what does that mean? Stay the hell away from them. Don't be near them. Don't allow them taking photo ops and doing all this shit. No, man, you're not supposed to be doing that. They're not your brothers, man. Not everybody that just because, and really, the only reason I could see that you'd say it would be, oh, their brother is because they're, other so-called black men as well. Okay, because it can't be brother as far as in brother within the truth, or brother under Yahweh Shemi Shai. That's the only thing it could mean, because if you're trying to say that they're brothers like a regular brother, then that's even more so going off. Okay, and you guys are just, it's. I mean, it's really not something that should even have to be repeated, because it's something that you should know. All right, it's something that you should know. There's no we're not to be associated with these other hanging around again, where is it? Right here, Amos, we're going to skip to Amos 3 and 3. It says, can two walk together except they be agreed? All right, I'm going to actually go and get this, and I'm going to get this in the AMP Bible, all right, Lord willing here, because it doesn't get much simpler than that, but hopefully, can you walk with someone unless you're agreed with them? If I'm walking down a street and I'm taking a right and they're taking a left, how can we walk together? We're going different places. We're not doing the same thing, okay? It says, Amos 3 and 3 in the AMP Bible, it says, do two men walk together unless they have made an appointment? Not the best one on that one. Let's go and get let's do the Christian Standard Bible and see what it says. It says, can two walk together without agreeing to meet? Okay. Really, the King James gets it the best. All right. Can two walk together unless they be agreed? How are you going to go? Are you going to both get in the car here? One of you is going to California. One of you is going to Texas. You're going to both be in the same car? How? All right. How's that going to work? One's gonna drop you off, and the other one's gonna. What's the point of even going then, right? No, I'm gonna drop you off, and then I'm gonna come back and get you, and then you're gonna get me. We both have our things, but we both need to be there at the same. You can't. You're going different places, man. You're different. You can't walk. All right, the same path while one's going left and one's going right. All right, you just can't. Okay, you might have similarities. You might both like Greek yogurt, right? But it doesn't mean you're on the same path. You're on two different complete paths, man. And the other thing is 1 Thessalonians 5:22, it says, abstain from all appearance of evil. Okay? Abstain from all appearance of evil. Now, if you go and look up anything about Islamic behaviors, okay, that's not a good look. That's not a good look. Okay, now we're already going to be demonized for the things that are in the Bible, all right, but the things that are in the Bible are within the truth. Okay, we don't need to go and start associating with bad character. Okay, with bad character, and it's just not smart. It's not wise. It's not circumspect. Okay, and going on to 2 Corinthians 6:3, it says, giving no offense in anything, that the ministry be not blamed. And if you're going to hang around these Nation of Islam people, all right, that already are bugged out, they don't worship Yahweh Bashmiao Shai. Okay, so they don't worship Yahweh Bashmiao Shai, and they're gonna go out there and do whatever they do. And now, so say if they go out there and Nation of Islam, now they're doing drugs or they're smoking or there's some event, all right, because you hung around them, now you're gonna be guilty by association. Okay, and then that's why you're guilty of association. Here it is, you're calling yourself a Hebrew Israelite. Now the ministry is gonna be blamed because of you, because you wanted to go around and have photo ops. All right, you want to go have photo ops with these guys when they're clearly not in the truth, right? They're clearly not. That's like if I went and took a photo with some random dudes on the street, all right, and then those guys go and rob a house, all right, the next day. Now they're gonna have a photo of me with those guys. Now I'm gonna be looking at sideways, and because I'm looked at sideways, and they find out I'm in the truth. Now the truth is gonna be looked at. Well, what's going on over here, right? You're not supposed to be doing those things, getting the ministry blamed. But these guys, they're disorderly, man. They don't care, and they don't accept rebuke. Okay, they don't accept rebuke at all. Okay, you know, and rebuke's a good thing. All right, if I had to be rebuked, I mean, it doesn't feel great. I've been lightly rebuked, lightly as all. I've been rebuked, but light as all things could go. All right, by brothers before. All right, with the thing I said that was kind of going off or incorrect, or I might have had the wrong idea about it. But guess what? What I came away from that with is a correct understanding. Okay, when you get rebuked, you come away with a correct understanding. See, a lot of people hate rebuke. They don't like being corrected. All right, it makes them, they think it's a personal attack, like they're being attacked, like they're being ganged up on. All right, oh, I'm being ganged up on. You guys are coming against me. I'm being attacked. And you take it as like an ad hominem attack, and it's not an ad hominem attack. If you're doing something disorderly, you're doing something disorderly, right? If you're doing something disorderly, you're doing something disorderly. It doesn't matter at the end of the day if your feelings are hurt. Who the fuck cares about your feelings? It's at the end of the day that if you don't correct your behavior, the Lord could possibly, depending on what you're doing, depending on what the situation, if it's something bad that's really reserving of a harsh rebuke, it could be because the Most High, that might be worthy of death what you did, right? Or you're going off, or someone's trying to correct you, or they see you slipping and they say, hey man, you're slipping, you need to tighten up your fucking game. All right, but you get offended in that, and now you keep slipping, and now guess what? Now, they rebuke me. I don't like the way they talk to me about that. I don't like it, the way you do that. Everybody's coming against me. You just think this about me. You think that about me. Blah, 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 blah. And guess what? Because of all that, and that murmuring, and that not accepting, and really lack of accountability. All right, you had accountability and trying to save face and stonewall. All right, the Lord's going to end up destroying you because you didn't want to humble yourself and be corrected. All right. You didn't want to be corrected. So, and that's, hey, let's go and get that. We can just type in rebuke and we could get a couple of that. A couple of scriptures revolving around that. I mean, we can get Proverbs 27:5. It says, open rebuke is better than secret love. 1 Timothy 5:20 says, them that sin, rebuke before all, that others may fear. And it also goes as a way, when other people see it, they're gonna say, oh shit, see, that was bad, I'm not gonna do that. Now I know we shouldn't be doing that. If they were going off, that if someone who's and in the right spirit will see that and say, oh, that's gonna be a correction towards me as well. All right, I didn't know that. Now I'm gonna fall in line because I saw this happen. Now I know, right? Let's see. Titus 2:15 says, these things speak and exhort and rebuke with all authority. Let no man despise thee. So if you hate someone because of rebuke, then guess what? Then whatever. There's a scripture says, we got to go and get Proverbs. See, all these are actually great. Proverbs 27:6, it says, faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. So really, this is done out of love. If we hated you, we just let you, just be destroyed. All right. But no, we tell you, hey, you're going off. Stop doing that. That's wicked. All right. But a lot of people don't want it. All right. Let's see. We got to go and get Proverbs 9:8. But then I got to go and get. What was it? How's it worded? Don't despise rebuke. I can't remember how it goes. That's not that one. We're gonna get that one, but well, that's the one we were looking for. No, that's the same one. There's another one, man. Let me just get this one. Let me go and get it, and then where were we? We'll continue in here. Let me open it up. It's got to be in here. Well, I mean, one of the ones that came to mind is we can go and get Titus 3 and 10 as well. But Titus 3 and 10, it says, a man that is an heretic after the first and second admonition reject. Okay? Why? Knowing that he that is such is subverted and sinneth, being condemned of himself. So again, if you keep going off and 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 going, here it is, you're eating pork, and then we say, stop doing that, and then you're committing adultery, we say, stop doing that, and we do that, stop doing that. You know, at that point, you don't have to keep on correcting that person over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, it's they might be doing new sins that they might not have been correct. At this point, they're completely done. They're toast. You know, they're toast. You know, we have to. Oh no, Sabbath is not. You know, on Sunday. Oh, and no, you're not supposed to be eating pork. Oh, no, you're not supposed to be eating that. Oh no, you can't smoke either. By the way. Oh no, you can't commit adultery. Oh no, you can't. What's the point? That person's just, you can tell they're already, they're turned aside, man. They're not after Yahweh Shem Yahushai. They're just after Satan, all right? They're just devilish, all right? They're demonic, all right? You can keep on correcting them over and 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 over again. It's not going to do anything. You're just going to waste your breath, okay? Like it says, you know, knowing that he that is such is subverted. So he's subverted, all right? What does it mean to be subverted?
Subvert.
Okay, right here, destabilized. All right, or destroyed. All right, demolished. You're done. Right, you're subverted. All right, you're against Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, and you know if someone keeps on bucking up and 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 bucking up after rebuke, and like I said, I don't know the whole history about these guys. I remember they were rebuked a while back ago, like a year or so ago. It's been a while. I can't remember. And I remember that whole situation. The brothers talked about, you know, the apostles, I think, notably talked about the name Sons of Thunder even being ridiculous. Okay, but you know, at the end of the day, they're not going to listen. All right, if you hear it, you hear it. You know, if you have ears to hear, hear. If you don't, you don't. That's just as simple as that. You know, can't make a fool understand anything at the end of the day. I mean, it doesn't matter. So, yeah. So Proverbs 9 and 8 through 9, we're going to get this one as well. It says, "Reprove not a scorner." Now, what is a scorner? Okay, a scorner. Okay.
Scorner.
A person who expresses contempt or disdain for someone or something, and notably, someone, all right, would be whoever the person doing the rebuke is, and something is rebuked. They have contempt or disdain for getting rebuked. Okay, you know, what does the Bible mean by scorner? A proud, arrogant person who despises correction. Mocks wisdom and rejects Yahweh's teachings, often using contempt and ridicule to push others, away and promote strife. And that's exactly what that guy was doing on the comment board, making that proud comment, right? So it says, "Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee." So a wise person, you know, they get rebuked and they say, you know what, I was going off. That kind of sucked that I got rebuked. You know, it didn't feel too well, but you're right. Right, I was going off, and you know, I'm glad that you said that, because now I can correct myself, and you know, maybe won't be destroyed by Yahweh Shem Yahushai. But a fool, all right, they're gonna scorn, and they're gonna hate, they're gonna talk shit, right? So it says in verse 9, it says, "Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning." So that's what's going to happen with someone who's actually wise. They're going to increase in their learning. They're going to say, you know what? Shit, I was going off. I was pretty wicked with what I did. All right, I did that wrong. Or if you're a leader of a congregation, said, I did that wrong, and now I have to instruct, you know, the people under me, because I don't want them going off because I went off. All right, that would be the correct way. But no, of course not. A proud person, you know, and like I said, a proud comment, that guy must just be a proud guy then. All right, if he's leaving proud comments, he's probably too prideful to accept rebuke. And that's the state with a lot of Israel. They're too prideful to accept rebuke. All right, no one likes being rebuked. Yeah, come on, I want to know that I'm fucked up on something, right? I mean, well, not in that way. You know, I want to be chastised because of that. No. But if I said something wrong, all right, I know me personally, if I said something wrong, I'd like to be corrected, because I don't want to, be having whatever that is out there in the world. I want to be able to correct it, right? If I'm ever wrong, please, brother, openly feel free to, rebuke me or say, hey, you went off on that, right? Because that's what we need. We need correction, all right? Correction helps us change our actions, all right? And our action shows that we're truly serving Yahweh Bashim Yahushai or not, all right? And if we're trying to walk rightfully in this ministry, all right, we're going off, we need to be corrected. If we're supposed to be on this conveyor belt and, the belt bumps up and we fall off the belt, please, someone come over and correct it, put us back on the belt and get us right on the right path so we're not rolling around on the floor, right? That's how you would think rightfully, right? So Ephesians 5:15, it says, see then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. So, and then it goes on in verse 17 to say, it says, wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. Okay, and I'll give you a hint. The will of the Lord is not going and convening with Nation of Islam, right? That's not circumspect. Circumspect, there's another definition you should know. Circumspect means wary and unwilling to take risks, all right? And by going around these Nation of Islam guys,
Circumspect.
all right, wary and unwilling to take risk, you're doing something that is taking a risk, all right? You're not being wary, okay? You got to realize if you were to correct those guys, look what happened to Abba Bivens, right? You don't know what could happen, all right? There's been issues. There's been several issues with the Nation of Islam guys. And I'm not saying those two guys that happen to be in the photo, all right? I'm just saying with that group as in general. Those two guys in the photos might be nice guys. They might shake your hand. They might be, but, they might be nice guys, but it doesn't mean that you should be convening them as far as with ministry, all right, or doing, debates or, not that you're doing debates, but there's a lot of these guys that want to do debates and get-togethers and, I'll tell you my beliefs and you tell me your beliefs and we'll debate over them and, you'll tell me why you think no, man. You preach and teach the word and the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. If they get it, they get it. If they don't, they don't, right? If they were able to do things in Hebrew, that's great. Maybe they'll convert, all right, from that and they'll find out truly, all right, that they're Israelites, not, Islam. All right, and they'll come under the truth under Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Great. All right, but you don't have to convene with them to do that. You can, they'll find it. If they're of the elect, they'll find it one way or another. All right, whether it be on the highways and byways or on a YouTube video or, however it is, they'll find the truth. Okay, you don't have to go and have a get-together and a sit-down and a feast or, whatever it is that you think you must have or do. It's not like that, all right? The truth goes out to those that need to receive it, all right? The elect are going to get the truth. It's point blank, period, all right? And those that are not going to receive it. That simple, all right? 1 Corinthians 1:10, right here it says, now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach, that ye all speak the same thing, and that there be no divisions among you, but that ye be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment. Okay, so you're not supposed to be, here it is, you all three people know three different things or believe in three different things and you're just hanging out. No, right? We're supposed to be joined together in the same mind, all right? You believe that the name is Yahweh and Yahushai. I believe that the name is Yahweh and Yahushai. You believe that the Sabbath is a lunar Sabbath. I believe that the Sabbath is a lunar Sabbath. You believe the heathens are going into captivity. I believe the heathens are going into captivity. We can't, did you know the heathens are going to, I don't believe the heathens are going to captivity. See, I think they're going to be saved. Well, no, they're not going to be saved. Well, I think they are. We can't have that. We can't have that. That's a division. Okay, that is a division. What is a division? All right, division, the act of separating something into parts or the process of being separated, okay? So, and so, see, there be no divisions among, that means there's no separate thought processes, okay? We can go and get, all right, here, Ephesians chapter 4, it says, I therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, this is verse 1, it says, beseech ye that ye walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called, with all lowliness and meekness, with long-suffering, forbearing one another in love, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, even as you are called, and one hope of your calling, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one Yahweh and one Yahweh and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all, but unto every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of Hamashiach. So one, all right, you can't have someone, calling on Allah, someone calling on Yahweh, all right, someone calling on Yahuwah, and someone calling on Yahweh. No. You have to be, look, no divisions amongst us. Okay, there's one truth, so we can't be convening with other people that are believing in other things. It's just not, it's not orderly. All right, let's go and get that. First Corinthians 14:40 says, "Let all things be done decently and in order," and that's where we'll close out with it. So that wasn't done decently and it wasn't done in order. Like I said, those guys, Nation of Islam guys, they might not be, bad guys, all right, as far as outside of this truth. There's people out there there's people that you meet that aren't in this truth that are, I mean, by all definition, they aren't good people, because good means doing the work and the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and, keeping the laws to the best of your ability. That's the real true showing of a good person. But I mean, like, they're not, they might be generous people. They might help you out, they might give you advice, they might give you some food if you're down here, or give you a ride. They might be decent, and I don't want to say decent, but they might be nice people in general, all right, but we can't associate with them because, look, we're living a different walk of life, all right. I'm not saying you're gonna see them, they're gonna punch you in the jaw, that type of piece, but I'm talking about as far as decently in order and good as far as the scriptures go. Worldly, they might be, with a worldly person, say, oh, he's a good person. He might be generous, might, give you the shirt off his back, might be a nice guy, but if he's not in this truth, all right, we're not really to be having any doings with them like that. Okay? We're not really to be having any doings with them. I'm saying those guys might not be bad people, as far as the world goes. They might be nice guys and compassionate in some type of way, and and understanding in some ways, and they might be able to be talked to, without getting hostile. But the fact of the matter is that we're not supposed to really be convening, all right, with people like that. All right, like I said, the guy that I know at my job, he's one of those Nation of Islam guys. He's not I mean, according to the Bible, he would be, but worldly, he's not a bad guy. He's a nice guy, talks to you, makes jokes with you. He's fine. All right. I enjoy talking to the guy and whatnot, but, he's not a guy that I could ever, like, I can't be like, hey, you should come over and cause I make videos and you should come over and we should, have a chat. And no, that's not something that should be done. Okay. That's not something that should be done. And at the end of the day, I wouldn't go out and hang out with him outside of work. That's not something I would do, because he believes something completely far out. All right. That's not what I'm involved in. Okay. So, but take with that what you will. All right, do with it what you will. We know some people aren't going to receive it. If you can receive it, receive it. If you can't, you can't. All right, can't do anything more than that. But how long we go for? 37 minutes. But yeah, I'm gonna try to see if I can make another lesson as well. I'm gonna try to working on a new lesson schedule. Every other day I want to try to do 2 lessons one day, a lesson, and then do some posts. Do maybe like a post and then, or like do a lesson and then like 2 posts, and then do like 2 lessons and a post. Do more for this ministry is what I'm trying to get at. So I'm trying to see how I want to do it and where to fit it in. And if I want to do one earlier in the day like this and then one at night, or if I just want to, do them both back to back. I don't know. It's a work in progress right now. And through Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, I'll figure it out, Lord willing. But we'll see. All right. Stay tuned. But, a little shorter. All right. That's about 40 minutes. I guess it's not too bad. But yeah, man. So that's really all I had to say. Rebuke's not a bad thing. All right. That might just be what I titled the lesson. Rebuke is not a bad thing. All right. It's for your betterment. All right. Rebuke is for your betterment. It's not a bad thing. All right, or something along those lines. We'll see how it goes. Just spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. We're going to close out there. Lord, what was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakak Wadash. I want to say shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing, shalom.